Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of my Absolutely Killing It series as the nation of Austria, where in this episode, actually, the focus is going to be on the Latvian and Estonian region. You'll notice that that area is mostly unified with the Livonian Order right now. Now, it has gone through different phases where we released Estonia from Denmark, if I recall correctly, in this series, and what ended up happening, unsurprisingly, is the Livonian Order was able to gobble them up. However, I have had it on many occasions where that region, and by that I mean the Livonian Order or whoever owns it, will add itself to the empire, usually as a means to seek protection from aggressors like, for example, Muscovy. And I do think that you can fairly consistently sort of manipulate them into actually joining the empire. And that is the subject of this video, as in the actual game, I have a truce with the Ottomans. We did take one little cheeky province in Bulgaria, where my mindset in the game was that I could release Bulgaria, but I kind of altered my mindset to just understand it would be smarter for me to just add the land directly towards the empire at this stage. However, I did give Serbia all of his core remaining, and that little province that we took in Bulgaria there actually gives me the Holy War CB still against him, which is a little bit inconsequential because we're going to integrate Byzantium either way. But with that being said, when we focus on the Estonian region or the Latvian region, the Baltic region up in that area, my thought process is that if we can release Estonia, it's going to be more likely, now that Estonia can join the empire through Finland, that they will join. Obviously, both the Livonian Order and Estonia should have the means to join the empire, but in order to make this happen, what I want to do is actually eliminate all of the Livonian Order's friends, his allies, break any ties that are guaranteeing him or allying him through the war, as well as obviously weaken him. The smaller he is, the easier it is for him to join the empire. But I actually don't want to make him despise me too much. So, ironically, despite the fact that we just declared war on him and we are involved in a war with him, if you do not directly own his land, then he's not going to have an overwhelming amount of malice, and it should he should not hesitate to join the empire. So, with that being said, if we can get Estonia and Latvia to join the empire, it's also going to obviously give Riga, the opportunity to join the empire. Now, these are all individual princes, which is going to help us hurry along towards that almighty revoke. But, of course, more importantly, I will actually obtain the entire region itself. And these are all princes which we can all feed if that is the route that you want to go, who all generate their own monarch points and so on. So speaking of revoking, guys, that is basically the next big phase, right? At this stage, I feel like France is not that much of a threat. Like if he did inherit the lowlands, for example, or well, if the Burgundian inheritance went down and he inherited eastern France and was having a better game, I would feel like he'd be a little bit more of a threat to me. The Ottomans are certainly not a threat, and especially considering the fact that I have England as an ally who is rivaling France, and that I intend to PU Castile and or Spain. I'm feeling pretty good about the situation with France right now. Now, integrating Byzantium there feels really good, man. That's going to allow me, of course, to add all of those provinces. It's probably about 20 provinces or so, maybe slightly less, which results in however many there are, 17, 18 imperial authority. And if I'm not mistaken, the next one is disallowing wars, which is going to create peace inside the empire, generating 0.1 more imperial authority every single month. Of course, that's before the scaling from the Austrian ideas, scaling from the missions. I always try to re-roll my missions, guys, to get the improved relations with so-and-so elector. As a reward, you get 10% more imperial authority, which of course scales and stacks with the other bonuses, like the Austrian ideas. I definitely try to do that. Now, obviously, this war with the Livonian Order is pretty straightforward. I think he had Riga as an ally, or somebody, Riga as an ally, or something. He had one ally, I think. He had two allies, one would not back him up, but I forget the details. I don't think I was able to release Latvia for some reason here. Yeah, I don't 100% understand the dynamic of why I couldn't. It might be because his capital was there. Or I think I can release them, but I won't. Either way, that's what I ended up doing, is releasing Estonia and hoping that that worked out after influencing that region. Estonia really likes me, and neither of them have diplomatic relations. They have now been divided and fractured, and I'm hoping that they will actually join the empire. But whilst I wait, I am eagerly waiting, of course, for the Habsburg heir to come of age in the Castilian throne. If you guys remember the old video where I talked about, I uploaded my great Austrian game where I revoked in 1540. One of the ways I was really lucky in that game was that I got the Habsburg on the Castilian throne so early, and I actually PU'd him so early. I PU'd Castile long before I revoked, which is pretty exciting. And in this game, yeah, it looks like I will have an opportunity, but it's already a much later in the game, and the clock's ticking. So I'm really hoping that when the Habsburg comes of age, he doesn't have an heir, and I'm going to go in there. And of course, that's why I broke my alliance with him, so that I don't have a truce, and that's why I've also been maintaining my relations with him to make sure that he's happy and doesn't actually rival me. Now, it just so happens that he's actually losing a war right now, and I think it's mostly due to the dynamic right now with the colonial nations seem really derpy. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. Maybe one of the smaller patches has kind of fixed that by now. I don't know. But there definitely seems to be the circumstance where colonial nations kind of go off into West Africa or into the New World or something. And, oh boy, like sometimes they really drop the ball, like unbelievably. Sometimes they start aggressive wars and their troops aren't even in position. And they just get absolutely ravaged. And that's kind of what's happening to Castile right now. His troops just seem to be a complete no-show. And Morocco's actually whooping his booty. I'm not too concerned about it, though. My biggest concern is that Castile actually, his prestige becomes dismal. And he loses the unions because, of course, I might be able to PU him, but I'm not going to be able to PU the unions individually. And, yeah, I want, of course, to grab all three, hopefully, integrating Naples completely freely as he's a relatively small nation in my imperial, what is it called? Diplomatic reputation is what I mean to say, is so high that we just integrate provinces or countries like that for free. So that's the dream. Now, I'm not too worried about him losing the land, of course, because he's going to have reconquest, and I will reconquest on behalf of our subject. Now, as you saw there, I abdicated our own ruler, and that was for the imperial authority, and that's, you know, another small tip which many of you guys will be on top of I'm sure. If your ruler is 60 years old and your heir is, you know, of age, you can just press that button and get that 10 imperial authority. And alternatively, if your ruler has ruled for 20 years and your heir is of age, you can just press that button. So I highly recommend doing that. Even if your heir is worse than your ruler, monarch points are secondary in the early game here as Austria. It's all about that imperial authority. You know, who needs monarch points when you can become the Grand Emperor, and at that stage you can abuse the game so much you can expand on behalf of your subjects and integrate everything for free. But of course, just like any other nation, you're definitely going to want stellar rulers to help you, probably in the early game. Like if your heir was really good immediately, that would be great, and definitely later on as well. Later on, at a later stage of the game, especially if you intend to actually form the empire, not just abuse the vassal swarm. But either way, you can see the Castile got wrecked there, pretty humiliating, but I will take that land back eventually via Reconquista. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time.